BattleBlock Theater by JessicaSite. Jessica, take it away.
We're ready to get started. Let me see. Okay, I do not. There's only one weapon I'm allowed to use in weaponless, and that's the vacuum. I don't know why. Actually, I do. I'll come to that later. But first, can I get a countdown? 3, 2, 1, go. So, welcome everyone to BattleBlock Theater. It is probably my favorite speedrun game of all time. It's also one of the only two I do. Well, technically there are three, but that's a different story. It's your basic platformer. You need to collect 3 gems and then reach the exit. Now, normally, the main category is any percent no level skips weapons. We are currently doing any percent no level skips weaponless. The big difference is I can't use weapons, so it's pretty obvious. The only weapon I'm allowed to use is vacuum because it has 0 use. It is like, yeah, I can't really say much more outside of that. It's completely useless. I didn't intend to grab that gem, but we'll make do. Yeah. So the basics of the weaponless category is, well, you can't use weapons. So this is very similar. I'll get into hat spawns in a bit. This is very much like how a noob. Okay, that was really stupid of me. The basic of the weaponless category is that you can't use weapons, and the only people who really won't use weapons. I really need to get rid of that hat. That hat is awful. The only people who don't use weapons are new players, essentially. So or I at least, like to call this the new player percent, or the new player category, because it's really easy to get into. There's a lot that you can mess up on, but still, and there's a lot you still need to practice, but it's a lot less punishing than the frame perfect moves we use in weapons categories. Coming back to that golden hat that you saw in the last level, that was really bothersome. Once every 45 minutes, a golden hat spawns. Golden hats spawn animation is 4 seconds, so we already lose time on that. And if you pick it up, you get 10 extra gems, which we don't need. The finish animation with the golden hat is another 7 seconds. So you lose in total 11 seconds if you reach the end with a golden hat. So it's really important to make sure that you do not have that hat. And some people even make sure that before they actually run the game, they make sure that there is at least 1 golden hat spawn in a warm-up run, so that the chances of getting a hat spawn during your run are decreased. What more is there to say? Well, this is chapter 1. There are 8 chapters, each including 11 levels we'll do, of which 1 we technically skip out of, but we'll get into that when we reach the set level. First 4 chapters are... I just lost all audio, by the way. I don't know. I lost my video game audio. There it is. Okay. There might be some... Or the guys in the background are working hard to make sure everything's alright, so... At least my apologies for any issues. I lost my train of thought completely. Chapter 1 is the tutorial chapter. There's really nothing going on. Chapter 2 is like the small upgrade of it. Chapter 3 is the first level chapter that actually gets interesting, where they use some more unique mechanics. Chapter 5 is where the run actually starts. And it comes in with one of the most punishing levels in the weapons category. In the weaponless category, it's fairly easy, but in the weapons category, that is the scariest level we have. On the other hand, this level is just, again, it's just run through it. Nothing special going on. It is weaponless chapter 1 anyways. Like, there's really not much you can mess up on unless either an input gets eaten, which isn't that likely, or you just mess up personally, which is a bit more likely because consistency, and I may or may not have put all my practice on the run I will have later today in Illusion of Gaia, because that game is a lot more punishing than this version of the BattleBlock. Okay, so this is the secret level. Or this is not technically a secret level, but this is the first level where we encounter secret levels. And we are allowed to quit out of secret levels. They have an amazing soundtrack. We're just gonna get to the first part because we quit out of secret levels. The reason we are allowed to quit out of or skip secret levels, even though this is the no level skips category. I need this cat to not be annoying. Thank you. Is because the basic idea of the weaponless category, or of the no level skips category, is you need a letter grade on every mandatory level. And by skipping out of a secret level, you still get a letter grade on the normal level. Which means that by definition, it's not a level skip. So we use that to, well, skip out of in total 8 levels. Some levels we still do for the most part, some we just skip out completely. Like the chapter 1 secret level, we skip the entirety of that level. That level is actually pretty long if we didn't have the secret. But we do. So, you know, it's a really short level. Bar that, yeah, like, there's not really many fancy tricks we use in this category. We do a little bit of, like, AI manipulation. We do a little bit of, death abuse, or we do use a few death abuses, and we do, like, rock throws. Outside of that, everything is just your normal vanilla platforming with double jumps. We can manipulate the movement of cats by frame perfect inputs. It sounds really difficult because being a single frame off, or it being in the wrong position, a single frame when the cat meets the screen, means that they can do something different than you're normally used to. However, it's not as sensitive as that is. Sometimes it can be, but it's not actually the case. It's weird, it's confusing. But for example, in that level, we can do really easy cat manipulation. I got hit by the landmine, which I've never really have happened to me, but you know, it's something that can happen. Cats that shoot weapons can either shoot high or low, and we have to adjust to how they shoot. That cat generally shoots low to medium. This time he shot high, so I got hit. There's not really anything I could do about it to respond to it, because you don't know until the weapon leaves, and I was moving at a really fast pace due to the lava blocks. I skipped that part on the too low, which means that I had to take an extra lava block for the lava. We can pass through that laser, no problem. On this one, we're gonna have to wait because we saw it go off, and it's not the longest window you have for a laser cycle. And then we grab the key. Normally you only have to hit the exit, and the last one you have to get the key. And we get into a little cutscene. We skip all cutscenes for the most part because this game has about 25 minutes of cutscenes in a 1 hour 45 run in this category.
Confusing and hopeless situation, but boy, this place is quite.
So yeah, we don't watch cutscenes. and we just go straight into the next level.
Find the gems to whisk you away from this horrible place.
I'm like thinking, what more is there to really note about Chapter 2? Chapter 2 has not much special about it either. Like, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 are pretty simplistic, and there's not really anything special going on that I can talk about. You get introduced to like those kind of portals, for example, and jelly cannons, and all kinds of new enemies and allies, but overall it's just your normal everyday platforming for this chapter as well.
That, now go for a beat.
This is another secret level. This is also where we get introduced to like proper ice physics. The ice physics are generally pretty good for us in this game. Except for the weaponless category, because we can't abuse them as much as a weapon-based category could. For example, when you're on ice and you use the energy ball in the weapons category, you get launched sideways instead of up. And the energy ball launches you at an insane speed, so you get massive horizontal velocity, which is pretty cool and can kind of break this game. We don't have an energy ball, all we have is a vacuum. You still use the extra speed gotten from the ice to slide a little bit faster certain parts, but nothing major will happen. With ice, at least. Well, nothing major will really happen that quote-unquote breaks the game. Except for, at some point, Death abuses the rock throws. The thing I did there was, with the double jump, you can get just enough height to make that lava block and skip about 2 seconds worth of going down and going back up. Very rarely, it's very difficult to get this consistently because you need to be low enough to go underneath the first block, and then you need to be high enough to go over or to actually get hit. So you have a very small window where you can make that, but it's always worth to try that part. With a little jump, we can skip that part, and we're gonna... Okay, that was very risky because I knew the laser was about to shoot. But I also know by now that I have enough velocity on ice to actually make that cycle. We're gonna use a slash to stay in air a little bit longer so we don't get hit by the boomerang. And then we're gonna just do your normal everyday platforming to finish off. So, another thing I can like talk about whilst the levels aren't really that interesting yet, gonna come later on, is the story. Because this game has a really weird but really cute story. Well, cute until you get to the final part. Hashtag spoilers. I thought I died there. I did not. Yay. Yay for not dying. Well, I do miss this Ferdinand cycle now, which kind of... But yeah, the story of this game is about you were on a boat with all your friends, having a jolly good time because, yeah, you were on your boat, on a boat with her. That was kind of fail. That was really fail. That block is spawning at a really annoying time. It's completely, or the timing is always the same, but I'm just being a derp and dying to it. Yay. Okay. And we also missed this Ferdinand cycle, which we normally can abuse with weapons, but we don't have weapons. And yeah. Thus far, this level has been going pretty bad, actually. Or this chapter. Even though this is one of the easier chapters, there's a lot still that can go wrong because this game can at some point be very punishing just by its nature. It's normal platforming, but there's a lot that's going on. Here there's a little time skip where Normally, you need to place all those blocks over the laser, but a single block will do if you place it on the highest spot. You need to be a bit more aware of your timing, but, you know, if you take it with care, you should not die to those lasers, and you can just get past it with ease. There. And we jump up, and another exit. Now, story. I was gonna talk about the story. So we were on a boat with friends, and we got into a huge, ginormous storm. It was raining heavily, and tides rose, and thunder and hail and everything, and we crashed onto an island. On this island, we got, well, imprisoned by these cat people. These weird mutations that once upon a time were probably cats or not. Our best friend, Hattie Haddington, got forcefully forced to manage this place because his hat happened to fit the requirements for leading this place. Which is that he's charming, he's kind-hearted, he's a great host, and he has the proper hat size. Because, you know, the glowing red hat that you see after each screen, that's the hat that determines that he's leading this place. It's also apparently haunted, which a little bit later on, I should have not taken that. I knew that was gonna go wrong, but you almost always want to wait for that laser unless you just saw it, because that laser is a really tight window. In weapons, we have a really cool skip would be coming up, but we are just gonna do the vanilla way because vanilla strats. Oh. It's kind of bad that I died here and not later on in this level. It really doesn't matter that if you die or not, because you have to wait for this entire chain to go down, and it takes a while. I want my boat. Get my boat, then I can leave this level. Yeah. I'll be doing a lot of comparing like weapons to weaponless, just because weapons has a lot of cool tricks that's frame perfect based, and this game has a lot of cool tricks too, and like you get to see the intended levels, which is pretty neat. But I find that some strats I find noteworthy in the weapons category so much that I do want to mention them. Because some save a lot of time, some save a little bit of time, but are really cool. And some we do because it's easier than the normal weaponless version of them. There is, for example, one all the way in chapter 7, all the way towards the end, where there's two strats you can do. One is quite quick, the other loses you 20 seconds. However, if you fail either of them, you lose another 45 to a minute. So it's always worth to at least try for it. And if you're not consistent in it in the weapons category, we have a little, we have side wheels for it. Yeah, we have a trick that makes it a lot easier and makes it a lot less punishing. In weaponless, we're gonna have to do the super risky, probably not gonna work style of it, because we do not have side wheels or anything to help us escort us through difficult parts of this game. I messed up my cat manip there. I knew I was gonna get hit there in that way. Because I jumped a little too early. And that's kind of the result. I should have dealt with that cat. Now, that second one was definitely my bad. The first one was a bit of awkward entrance, but that second one was just a hit. I should have been able to prevent without problem. But I didn't, so, you know. I bumped my head there, meaning that I can't actually make that. You don't need the fair none for this, but if you, it's a very small window where you can actually make that. And I done goofed. I messed up. Let's not die to these jelly cannons. Get a bit more careful because dying on that part can be a bit frustrating. Now we get into the most amazing cutscene that ever was. But we're gonna skip it, so you know. At least there's one line that like any runner knows by heart in this game.
Quite a bite the bullet so far.
You don't even complain about the prison food, which is shocking because that stuff tastes like doo-doo casserole with a side of butt salad. Best line in the game. Just straight up best line in probably other can probably take other games to like games with awesome voice lines, and this would still be one of the best.
Then find the door and you can unlock it.
Just because it's so weird and random, and we love it. I don't need that gem. I forgot. That's a gem we only get in weapons. So I'm gonna have one too many gem. And the problem with having one too many gem is every gem has a individual stamp animation. Stamp animation is 0.3 seconds long. So every extra gem that we don't need and I still get loses me 0.3 seconds. I turned there way too fast. I've been derping a lot in this not so difficult category. So I was gonna try and skip that gem to at least kind of compensate for it. I tried to go over there, but I forgot that I have wings. So we are losing 0.6 seconds just in stamp animation on this specific level. It is really difficult to actually get only 3 gems in this level just because... Well, in this case, I instinctively grabbed one, but a lot are like straight up on your way, and if you skip them, then you're generally speaking losing more time than you gain. Not always, but it can happen. Now, there is a block glitch that we can do with drawbridges. Do not ever try that in this level. You will just straight up soft lock. And when I first started learning this category, I accidentally did the weapon strats in which you can do that. And then I realized I just soft locked. So I am never forgetting to do that part anymore. It's literally just a fool me once situation where, yeah, it's kind of like, it screws you up so much that you're like, can I survive this? And then you're like, nope. And yeah, you just kind of have to reset the level. Do it again. And resetting levels is slow. Resetting anything in any game is slow. Now we need to disable these fats so we can get past. There's a little strat with this boat. You can push this boat, even though it's on a single block, so we don't need to pull the other block. Meaning that it goes a little bit quicker, and a little bit quicker is always good. We've got a good laser cycle here, so skip that. Skip this. Beware of the boomerangs. And now this catnip is probably the most difficult one in the game. We got out mediocrely. We didn't like get punched in the water. We didn't get just straight up body blocked. But it could have been better. However, I'm still quite happy with how that ended up going because, as I said, that is the single most difficult catnip in this game. Now I'm thinking, is there any other one that's worse? But I don't think there is. Otherwise, I'll eventually stand corrected. In weapons, we go... I do need this gem. In weapons, we go right there. In weaponless, we go left there. Because there is the monkey bars that we can grab on the left side, but there's none on the right side. In weapons, we can skip that entire part with a YOLO boost. or a boost that can almost guarantee to lose you or to kill you if you time it incorrectly, which is really easy to do because if you get hit by one of those cats, and again, cat manipulation can be really difficult at times, then that goes horribly wrong. Now, anytime there's monkey bars, I will not just straight up grab them. I will always grab them, let go, grab them, let go. Because your jump speed is a lot higher than just your climb speed. Climb speed goes really slow, so we'll always just be doing that. You just saw the drawbridge interaction where I just pressed the wrong button. That was even more embarrassing than most of the stuff that has thus far happened. You have to juke that jelly cannon because I don't want to die again. Right here, we're gonna bait some cats to get eaten by the raccoons because otherwise I get eaten. I don't want to get eaten. Why is that cat not being eaten? That's actually... I'm actually surprised that that cat took so long to get eaten. Normally raccoons go immediately to eat stuff that's on top of them. That cat stayed in the single position where that doesn't happen. I don't know how. I kind of mind because it is slower what I had to do instead, but it's not worse. It's not as bad as dying over there. We're just gonna fly through this level. Instead of wings have a limited amount of wing claps. I believe there are 30, but I'm not quite sure because I never counted. So you need to be really careful with managing or knowing where you can fly to and if you flew too much. Even though I don't know the exact count, I know more or well enough in which levels I can do how many flaps and where I can go with the wings. For example, in that level you can do the entire level. In this level, you can get quite far, but you still, because of there's like wings refreshing, and you still need to get rid of a few charges because we don't want them all the way through the level. We want them for the majority of the level, but not the entire level. So we're gonna do some extra flies there, so we can get rid of them. Grab these. Grab another set of wings and just fly on to the exit. And I thought I could make that laser cycle. I could not. That's a really tight window on that one specifically. So yeah, I done goofed again. It has been happening a lot in these early levels. I don't know why. It shouldn't be happening, but yay. Messing up on the early levels. Like these levels are the easy levels, and in a little bit we come into the difficult levels. Like, we like to say that this run doesn't start until chapter 5. Or some people even say chapter 6, but I disagree with that one just because chapter 5 has a few levels that are insanely difficult.
Jess,
Yeah?
can I interrupt for a quick moment and read a donation?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, we got a €10 anonymous donation. Yes, thank you all so very much for this amazing event every month. Keep up the great work, and thank you for donating.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you, Anonymous, for that donation. This is another secret level. We don't really like gain much by completing or by not completing the level and instead taking the secret, but it's still like a noteworthy couple of seconds, so we'll do it. Now we haven't been able to get this yet, but there's this little strat where if you on a single frame you hit the secret portal, press escape or whatever button your menu is tied to, you can do the exit level menu whilst you're entering the level. It saves about 3 seconds and is really inconsistent. Like, world record has it 5 times and that's like absurd. Because this is a marathon, I'm gonna try a little time skip in a little bit that I have a lot of difficulty with, because you can glitch this block through this cloud if you pull it properly. I am really inconsistent at doing so. So we're just gonna do it the vanilla way, even though it's a lot slower. Oh well. This level has our first death abuse. We die here to get back to our checkpoint, so we don't have to walk the way back. It's this one is very minimalistic. We have a few later that are way bigger, but it is the very first one. Pull that, drop it. You did not make the laser cycle. That laser cycle is almost impossible to get, so I'm not really surprised. And we're gonna fall through here, grab that one, and that was perfect. It's really difficult to get the grenade that he's currently shooting to be the one that kills him. And I'm happy that that's what happened, because otherwise we have to wait for another grenade launch. Sometimes even 2 when the first one and the second one hit each other. And yeah, I don't like waiting. I'm a speedrunner. Kind of what we do. We do not wait. Unless we absolutely have to, which we don't like, and which has killed, at least in my case, several runs already. Why is... Okay. That took longer than it should have.
You've really got the crowd
That's
eating
weird.
from your delicate hands now.
That loading
There's never a dull moment with you at the
is
helm.
normally really short, but it took a little bit longer than normal, and I'm kind of confused how that happened. Nothing too major, but if it happens a few times, or on all the remaining levels, then that can be definite time loss. We're gonna grab this rock. We're gonna build a staircase. Just need 2 rocks there. And we can double throw this rock if we're really precise. However, the window to do so is so close that even the world record time for the weaponless category doesn't actually do it. I believe, at least. I've checked it like once a long time ago, and I remember that that's the case, but it might be like the second place that doesn't do it. I don't know. Anyways, it's really inconsistent, and it's normal to not do that part. Now, these sludge walls are kind of annoying because they make you move really slow. We've seen them before as well. They're like the reverse version of the ice. However, you can jump off the side of those walls, which can either be beneficial or disadvantageous depending on how the blocks are positioned. For example, over there, because I was slower and had less jump height because of the blocks below me, I did a weird jump on the side of one, which I'm trying to prevent over. You can skip this, or we can go in between boomerang cycles. It's a small window, but it does save, I believe, 12 seconds in total. Might be a bit more. And we go on. We do have to wait for this laser. We don't want to get, like, fried to death again. Yeah. So we're now in chapter 4 already. So we're almost halfway through the run in terms of level amount. Second half is a bit longer than first half, so it's not really halfway through the run. This is a finicky cat manipulation that can be really inconsistent if you're new, but if you know exactly where to jump, then that never fails. I say that I have had it fail before, so that's technically a lie. I'm gonna dump this rock there for that drawbridge. The cat didn't actually punch me, which is really nice. Because that saves another little bit, because that cat can stall you for a long time on that very specific spot. And I'm happy that he didn't, because, you know, I don't want to get stalled. Basically, everything comes down to don't stop me, I just want to keep on running, because it's a speedrun, and it happens in every speedrun.
Trust me, you'll be fine, so long as you find the gems and don't die. Good luck.
And I love this level. This is one of my favorite levels. Started a bit but then we get like, we abuse the fireball, if I get hit by the fireball, to do a water boost. Because every time you're on fire and you get hit by water, and you hit water, I did that at the worst possible time. There, you get launched into the air as if you were on, for example, a lava block. It's a nice little boost to get past that. Then we get this pig. These are pigs. They're actually called horses, because in one of the PvP games, it's called horse game, and you ride these dudes. So they're technically horses. They look like pigs to me, so I'm gonna call them pigs. But you know, they're technically horses.
Well, good for you.
This level can be a bit tricky as well in speedrun variant, but we got it one try, which is really nice. You are very quick to like hit the ceiling there, and the ceiling is full of spikes, so that's not something you want to touch. Like hugging a cactus, not something I recommend. I mean, if you want to hug a cactus, more to you, but I would suggest no to that idea. Oh, I lost my wings at an awkward time. We're still gonna skip that gem because it doesn't lose me time anyways, and it makes the next part a little bit easier, because I don't have to play around that gem over there. Oh yeah. Only get 3 gems if possible. That's the general consensus of most of this run. Getting more than 3 is bad because you lose 0.3 seconds per gem, and if you do it a lot, then you are gonna quick to be losing a lot of seconds. Block to be pulled. Dying to the laser is faster than suiciding. Unless the laser isn't charged, in which case suiciding is faster than dying to the laser. Different death animations have slightly different slightly different in okay, this is going pretty bad with this grenade over here. This is going really bad, actually. That last gem, that was just stupidity, but like, sometimes that dude is a little bit faster than other times, and then that's the result of it. I thought I had 2 jumps, but one of my jump inputs got eaten. That sometimes happens. It's not a game where like inputs can't be eaten. It doesn't happen frequently, but it can happen, and it's quite frustrating when it does. I'm gonna call a pig here, so we can finish this level. We also got a gem mid-air, so we get the exact 3, because the other 2 gems are slightly longer to get. Well, one isn't technically longer, but you also have the chance that you accidentally hit this one, so it's just more secure to get this one over the other one. Now this level, I hate with a fiery passion, because this is just button bashing. One of the secret levels. And what we do is go underneath here and button bash up as fast as we can. That was pretty fast by my standards. A lot of people have double key binding to do it even faster. My controls aren't set up properly for double jump keys. So we do it slightly slow. It still works, so, you know. Okay, I'm not gonna make that laser cycle in time because that jump was mediocre. I do want this checkpoint because there is another death abuse here. Gonna get that gem as well. We're gonna have to rock fall on him. It's really annoying that I got set on fire there because that is one of the longest death animations, if not the longest. I pull this block over here to get past the lasers stuff. I can jump up there, over there. I do want this checkpoint because there is a 1 in a million chance of dying there, and that checkpoint doesn't lose me much. So, just in case. A really unnecessary, but just in case, I do really want that one. You have to wait for the raccoon to open that port. We're gonna have to stand on this button so it gets launched, and then leave this button so that the rock stays in position. This is a timing-based level. There's a bit of RNG involved in, like, not the next part, but the part after. Got launched over here, and then we want this dude to kill South, but it's based on portals, and portals are RNG, so I'm kind of stuck here until I get good RNG, or that was really bad. Not something I could have like easily avoided because like I could have avoided it, but it wasn't going to be a reliable avoid. One rock over here, so we can jump like that, got that one. And we are gonna have to raise this rock so that we don't get zapped. Because getting zapped means that I die, and that makes that part a whole lot more difficult. Generally speaking, dying makes us more difficult. Sometimes it makes it easier when we do it on purpose, but kinda depends on what level, where, especially time-based levels make that more difficult. I'm trying to peek at the time. Okay, 41. Okay, that's pretty okay. We're a bit behind, but not much. I'm not surprised that I'm a bit behind just because I've been messing up a lot of parts, but with just silly deaths, but like that one. I tried to slide, but instead I did a punch in mid-air, and punching mid-air is not good. Punching mid-air slows you down. It is not rocket science. It also keeps you in place because that's one of the functionalities, and we use that functionality a lot to actually avoid stuff, but sometimes you're trying to slide under something and gain a lot of speed on the ground, or get maybe underneath something, and doing then a slash is bad. We're gonna try and use... Okay, that was even worse. I was gonna say we're gonna try and use one of these frogs to avoid having to do this section in its entirety, and instead the frog blows up on us, and... Oh, that's bad. We got every single gem in this level, because it doesn't matter, because this level doesn't have a gem animation, and getting gems is faster in that level than not getting gems. We have good RNG on this laser cycle, so we can skip the final laser. Makes a big difference, actually. That final laser can screw you over pretty big, depending on how it gets shot. I didn't get... There's a time skip over there. But it's a really small window, where if you throw the rock and then gets launched by the jump pad, you can grab the rock again and throw it like higher. And then you skip like a little bit of that section. Now this cat is just a straight up meanie. He helped us at the end there by doing a uppercut. But that cat is almost impossible to manipulate without actually being slower than just getting punched a couple of times. It's very frustrating. That cat is very frustrating.
Take my dainty hand as I whisk you back to a time long forgotten.
Long before the poo hit the fan. That line too. Because I accidentally said it's in a PG-13 marathon in the quote-unquote intended way, and that wasn't a smart move. We're gonna have to wait here a little bit
It's okay if you do too.
and continue moving on.
Don't lose your head.
This level is the start of the real run. This is where it gets tricky. We also get way too many gems in this level because mostly just because where the gems are positioned is kind of unavoidable for a large part. This is the duck shark. Duck sharks can either eat you and then poop you out, or they can oh, this might be very bad. Okay, I killed the cat, so that was I was really scared for that, because if that cat kept me or stun locked me, which single cats can do in certain spots like that one, I would have lost the fire breathing cat, and I have to do a whole lot more to fix that. But the cat decided not to stun lock me, so even though it's still not ideal, it's not as bad as it could have been. That's a bit unfortunate, that laser. Oh well. And down. Gonna activate this dude. You can continuously slide him to not make him move on the vertical part of the wall. Nice little benefits. And we're gonna pull this block again. Stand on here. Jump from there to not get hit by a saw blading it cut into a million little pieces. And that's the exit. That level went really smooth. Like, except for like the laser cycle, which is the RNG. There was nothing that really went wrong. Like, I got the duck shark punch, I got the proper grapple. I didn't accidentally break blocks that I needed for something. There. Okay, now we're probably gonna have to wait. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for this guy again. This laser. Although that was a really short wait, which is nice. Didn't have to wait at all for that one, but we do have to wait for the laser. Again, laser cycles they're cycle based, but in the beginning of the level determine how they're gonna cycle, which means that unless you are a task, you do not really, unless you know exactly like what's going on, which you do not have the like, I have never met someone who had like the ability to memorize that quickly. You're going to get like have to wait a couple of times for them. You're gonna have to play a little bit more careful on laser heavy levels.
Here's the sea you earned.
Yeah. Of chapter 5, like 5.4 to 5.6 isn't that punishing. Well, 5.4 can still be, because it's one giant cycle. It's a laser cycle. I don't like laser cycles. Overall, this level is not that punishing. Next level can be very punishing in weapons, but not in weaponless. And the level after, I really don't remember what that level is. Stand on here. And we're gonna wait here until we see that ball appear. So that we can move there in one go instead of in two goes. Instead of having to wait in between the two ice patches. We also died to the saw blades there because, again, different death animations have different lengths. And even though the difference is absolutely minimal, saw blades is faster than the raccoon.
Well, that's a funny looking A.
Minimal differences, but you know, we still can abuse those differences. I have to wait. I didn't get like the first cycle, which is kind of annoying, but oh well. There. I'm gonna get a piggy here because we need piggy to get past the next part, and Pigs can sometimes do a weird little climb thing. When they do, it can slow you down and it can sometimes even make you miss a cycle, like it just happened. We want to skip this checkpoint because we want to get back to the start, as you saw that the finish is near the start. Gonna grab this gem because it's right here. Die to the saw blade. Get piggy. Walk over here. Wait for this thing to close. And we get to the exit. In weaponless, there's not really much that goes wrong in there. In weapons, you do a very precise rock jump. But, you know, we're not weapons. We have easy stuff. Simple. And I think simple in a good way. Yeah. The weaponless category is often looked down upon to a degree. But I really like it because it just practices your hard skill of like game. You don't have to use fancy frame perfect strats. You don't have to use weapons. It's just, can you memorize the levels and can you jump properly? Like, there's not much going on bar the rock throws and death abuses. Death abuse being mostly memory, and rock throws, yeah, that's a bit more. But it's just this run. I find this run, generally speaking, quite relaxing, just because not much special is going on except, you know, the normal stuff. I feel like it's disrespected because of that simplicity and because of that relaxed attitude that you get from this run. Okay, I'm not gonna make that. Okay, this is one of the most difficult parts in weaponless versus weapons. So we're gonna do a spike jump here. Spike jumps have about 3 pixels where you can stand on. I got it and then walked off it. It is really precise. But it's so much faster than getting the duck shark. Unless you die, I believe it's 6 stats to this, where the duck shark becomes faster. There. Stand on the edge. And we jump. We're gonna have to wait for this cycle because this cycle is annoying, but you know. The most difficult part of this level is actually not yet had, but one of the most difficult parts in this level is that started just now. But we also have the arena. There are a few cat arenas in this game. The cat arenas are basically, you have a bunch of enemies. And yeah, the exit in a awkward place. Try and get to the exits. We were quite lucky because the rocket never really shot us unless there was a cat in between me and the rocket. Rocket guy. Dying there is somewhat expected. And not dying there is thus a really good thing. Not dying in most cases is really good. No. That one in particular. You have to wait for the next laser cycle. Get past this. Activate this level. Run back. And this is a secret level, so... Okay, that was a bad position. Can I just climb this? Climb some more. I'm gonna wait for this next cycle, just because that cycle is almost impossible to get in one go. And there's a secret here. Okay, this is... Chapter 5 in general is very cycle-based. This is the worst offender. This is a part... This level has a part where it's not too difficult to mess up on just after or during. And a single cycle is about 25 seconds. So, yeah. Messing up in this level is very punishing. Well, on this part it isn't. But, you know, later on it is. Because of that cycle effect. I also can't seem to get this not too difficult. I'm gonna grab this gem. And this is the cycle of doom. This cycle is long, slow, and punishing. And you get the checkpoint, and it's all okay again. But, you know, as soon as you hit that checkpoint, it's all okay. But before that, it is scary, this level. go up here. We slide under that one because sliding is slightly faster. We're gonna get these very high. That was not high enough. Why isn't it that? There it is. We're gonna get it very high so we can jump on them and get to the exit as the intended route is. There's another route in weapons where you just use an energy ball and boost yourself to the exit in one go. Skip the entire saw blade section. It's a really precise jump. This way it's just, you know, you need to know what you're doing, but outside of that, again, it's not very punishing. Nice and relaxing. It's a cool running. Where did I jump? Oh, that was bad. I overjumped that. That can happen because this is a very small opportunity you have overall in this cycle. That lasers even is one of the most frustrating lasers we have in this game. Because again, this cycle is very close in general. And that laser is one of the faster shooter lasers and one of the longer duration of lasers. There. Checkpoint, wait for that block to appear, so like that. Now this next part has two options. We can either go full RNG, which I like to do. And that worked out insanely well. Or you can just not trust in portals and fly in between. I like risking it on that level. Because if you have, at least on the first one, you have a very high chance of success. And if you get that chance, like, it has a chance of just, like, kind of just winning you the video game. Jump from this block to this block to this block over there, and then climb further. This is another level that's a giant cycle. It's very close to actually get this one properly. But yeah, whilst I'm waiting on cycles, is maybe there's something the host likes to tell. Apparently not. We'll ask again when, like, we're in a little bit. Sir host, is there something you'd like to talk about? Because I'm kinda, like, out of stuff to say for right now.
I can talk about something all day long. But we are here at the BSG in Utrecht to support the Dutch Cancer Society. That is an organization that strives for less cancer, more research, and a better quality of life for those already battling the disease.
It truly does.
The donations, 90% of them will go to the charity, so make sure to get your donations in. And with those donations, you can. There's a bid war, so you can bid to either kill the fish or save the fish. Personally, I would go for saving the fish. I mean, who doesn't like fish?
Also, it saves time.
Exactly, it saves time. Gotta go fast. Be more like Sonic, go fast. So, killing the fish is currently in the lead. So if you prefer to save them, get those donations in right now.
Thank you, Mr. Host. We are in the meantime got to chapter 6. And chapter 6 is where it starts to get really punishing, and it's probably the most difficult chapter for this category. Just because there is one thing that is really precise in Weaponless, and that is rock throws. And this level has the theme of rock throws, saw blade races, and rocket dudes. That was really embarrassing. Not actually properly grabbing this block. This is probably the most punishing level in the Weaponless category. Chapter 7 is still an opportunity for that as well, just because 7-5 is absolutely stupid.
Here's your painted cardboard medal.
But I personally find this chapter the scariest for this category. This level is super short. Get the helicopter thingy. Punch there to fall down a little bit slower, and I did not get the boss rat. I should have not even tried for that, because that one is really inconsistent. Level gone. Not a long level. Next one, however, is. Although we still skip a lot, but you know, skip glass. Okay, we are going to climb up here and get boosted that way, jump like this. Oh, it's really important that we avoid that rocket, because we're not getting many checkpoints in this part, and doing that again is long. Yeah, now we get to the orange alert with a billion cats. And I did not, I had the cat manip right, and then I messed up the actual individual jump. But cats were helpful for once, so they saved the day. Thank you, cats. I actually appreciate you guys for once.
Now go for a beat.
What more is there in chapter 3? Chapter 3 also has, or chapter 3. Chapter 6 also has a lot of ice. So ice physics, yay.
Shall we find some
For an hour.
sparkly
Okay.
gems?
I quickly want to check like how deep we are in currently, because I don't have a timer right next to me, and where you are in chapter 6 when you hit the 1 hour mark is really telling of how well the run goes in terms of the weapons category. In weaponless you are of course slower, so we expect to be less far than the weaponless, or the weapons category would be at this point. We're first going to get the more difficult one of the 2 blocks that we need. Well, we technically don't need them if we want to go full YOLO boost, but, or not YOLO boost, but like full, just risking it. Because technically you don't need to close those lasers, because there's sometimes a really small window where those lasers aren't firing all at once, so you can just run through like a maniac. I do not recommend running through them like a maniac, because, yeah, generally speaking, when there are 3 lasers in a row, you do not want to try that. There are 6 of them in here. So you need crazy good luck and crazy good prediction skills. I have neither as well, which doesn't exactly help. I can sometimes. This level can be really punishing for starting speedrunners, and like current speedrunners as well, because the idea is rock throws, and sometimes you can get these really consistent, and sometimes it just doesn't seem to work, like today apparently. I am so confused why I'm being all of a sudden so bad at rock throws. I've done these a million times, yet all of a sudden it decides, nah. I'm gonna take this slow now. And still not get it apparently. Okay, like, I'm getting really confused how this rock throwing section is going this bad. There. I normally get that first try nowadays, and all of a sudden, rock says no. Oh well. As I said, most punishing level of the weaponless speedrun, together with 7.5. And we have a golden hat on top of that, which doesn't exactly make it much less punishing. There. Okay, we've passed like this before. The part next up is a cycle. And in the beginning of the level, the cycle starts, and we always know where it starts. Just, can you get lucky? We got really lucky. Nice. Although that hat is scary. There. I need to get rid of the hat before I walk on there, because I really do not want to have a hat. Waiting there and doing it a little bit more patiently, like I lost probably a second or 2 from just standing there. Better than losing 7 seconds for entering the exit with the hat. At least I think so. I think saving or losing 2 seconds is better than losing 7. So. This level is quite simple, but quite cool as well. Like, for the most part, it's just like fly through. But we have this little part where if you do not hit the sludge walls, you fall down a lot faster than if you do. And thus you finish that part a lot faster. It's a really cool little trick. It's quite precise, but when gotten successfully, it's just really cool. This sludge block is a tad bit annoying, because you need to be on the upper part of the sludge block to make that. And if you double jump fast, you hit that saw blade as you saw. If you don't double jump, then you either are not high enough or you don't grab the block again. So that can mess up just really easily on a lot of spots. Let's see what's coming. Okay, coming up is the second shortest level, around third shortest level in weapons. One of the longest in weaponless. I think that's the next level though. Yes, that's the next level. This one is quite long. Started with a saw blade race. This saw blade race really isn't scary. Oh, I jumped a little bit too late, trying to get the ideal timing. That's a small window to get like the really good timing where it doesn't lose you anything. And we're gonna move these blocks, and then we're gonna death abuse to just immediately get to the final part. Minor side note, because I just want to mention real quick, is the estimate I had for this game is quite precise. I don't have much time to lose overall relative to my estimate, and it's not going that well, so I'm fearing the worst, but Chapter 7 can still salvage everything. Just a minor heads up that we might go overestimate in this game, just because it's been going pretty badly, and the estimate is really tight, because I didn't expect it to go quite badly. Just because... Oh, this is even worse. Having a million cats walk around here is problematic, to say the least. But I think we got past it just right. Yep. We got past it just fine. So that's nice. Pop this dude. Make sure that this dude flies over. Stand on there. Get launched by the duck shark. That was like, I got stuck on the back of his head because his head has a wide hitbox. Okay. And we want to pop this one first. Then move this block and then just kind of stand here and wait. Because the portal is right above that rock. So we need to wait for that rock to fall before we can take the portal. Close off him. We're gonna pop a couple of frogs. We're gonna stand there. We're gonna deactivate you. We're gonna deactivate you. Wait for this grenade. Fly past him, and that's the finish. In weapons, you can actually glitch through the very first wall, so you skip the entirety of that level. Looks really cool. I do not have the weapons to do that, so you know, we just complete the level, and it's quite a cool design. I think it's quite a cool design. You may think differently. Everyone may. Everyone is entitled to their opinion of what is a cool level design and what isn't. Now this level is stupid. We do not like this level at all, or at least I don't, and I have seen very few runners who do. Just because there is this very particular skip, where we do rock throws. And we got it first try. That's really good, because I was really scared because those first rock throws went awful. oh, that makes it level actually go really well. That's a really good timing for that level. Nothing went wrong. Like, just that should say enough about like level going well. If nothing goes wrong, you generally have a pretty good time on that level. We're almost at like the final two chapters of the game. So have to quickly finish this finale. Now we can go to chapter 7. And lastly, of course, chapter 8. As I think most people who can count will know. It's 6, 7, 8. This finale has not much going for it. There is this dude, which is just RNG based. We got the good RNG, so we can pass through him quickly. And immediately make this saw blade cycle. So that's good. Be a bit careful with this saw blade because of how he walked. I pressed the wrong button. I always seem to just magically forget what button is down, what button is slash attack. Which is kind of embarrassing. We're gonna want to stop the ice physics as much as we can on this part. Because then we can jump like that and it skips having to go all the way to the other wall. Which is quite long and quite precise as well. So this is just a lot shorter. And simpler. Oh, I did a bad thing there. That was some really weird hitboxes. Also, that laser was a really weird hitbox. Also, this music. Amazing, right? Now, the next part is this rocket dude. And I have a bad history of dealing with that rocket dude, but recently has been going really well, like there. I've died more times than I'd like to admit to that rocket dude. Means that this is a really nice finish to chapter 6, which generally was mediocre, but
Now,
you know.
it goes without saying, but cats really
Good
don't like
finish.
to be ignored. And my oh my, the
Now to chapter 7. And we finished chapter 6, so we don't have to backtrack. Sometimes people walk to chapter 7 by accident instead of chapter 6. The person who I'm talking about knows who I'm talking about.
Trying to find some gems.
Gonna leave it there. Just gonna leave it there. I don't know if he's watching or not, but you know. We're gonna have to throw this rock. Throw it again. Into the portal. Then we join him in the portal so we can do the next part. That was actually really nice death abuse. You get to the checkpoint that we just got immediately. We need a boat. We can find a boat over here. Then you use the ice to slide over here. And this level normally is super short because of how we can use certain weapons. However, we can't use certain weapons. Pretty much the theme of certain levels among others. This one. I need to slide down here. And then I jumped too much. Haha. There. Okay, that's some bad RNG. Can I please get to the right portal? Thank you. We death abuse again. We are going to move this block and do that lift glitch that we've done a couple of times. Can you please stop? This guy is like one of the worst, like, can't kill him and he just shoots seemingly at random and it's just so frustrating. He shoots just in any given direction. Also, he can body block you, which is even worse. We do need this rock. Because there's no way we're getting past like that. Okay, this is going to be You're almost guaranteed there to get too many gems. 5 is pretty good. Like 6 is normal. 7 is like I've gotten 7 there before as well, which is pretty bad. But 5 is good. You can't. Well, you can technically get less, but I've never really seen that happen. And normally this would be the first checkpoint skip level. But in this category, we do not skip the checkpoint because it is a single pixel, single frame opportunity you have to actually do one of the checkpoint skips. And yeah, single frame, single pixel is pretty scary. Really scary. We just walk over here, get this checkpoint. Get Biggie again. Quicker for me to scream at him. It's quicker for me to grab this one so I can just slide across, get to the finish, and that's 7-2.
Good for you.
People from TAC. People from TAC, hello? Hello, people from TAC? Could you very briefly mute my mic? I have something to ask some people. And that was bad finish of that part. Normally you can use like paper airplanes to skip this part. We do not have that luxury. We do not have a paper airplane, so cannot do that checkpoint skip. So we're just gonna complete the level mostly in the intended way. Only this part we do slightly faster. And yeah, so generally speaking, we wanna. That kind of sucks. Generally speaking, we can skip a large part of like levels that you have to run twice. I just barely managed to salvage that. That was really close. However, some of those checkpoint skips require weapons, which we don't have. That's one of them. Do a double paper airplane to skip that, which is already a glitch, but you know, we'll do it. This case, we can't skip that. This level is confusing, and not even a little bit. Like, this level is just... Okay, never mind. This is 7-6. I'm confused between 7-6 and 7-4, apparently. Which is not exactly the first time it happened. We're gonna have to activate all these 3 portals. There. It takes a little bit to actually activate all of them. Move this block, and then we can just fall down because falling down is faster than death abusing. Yeah, that wasn't gonna go right. I did not wait for the drop rage. Slide under that one, and this is a point that I'm not a big fan of. Because of that. Now I have to wait. Pretty long time. for the duck shark to move and then the duck shark to move again. It is massive time loss not getting that jump. What I'm supposed to do is move this block and then wait for the duck shark. I have nothing to do whilst waiting. Like, there's no jumps to collect. I already have way too many jumps anyways. There. So we ended up with way too many jumps as expected in this level. Duck shark didn't cooperate, which lost us a little bit more, but that level is long in this way, and weaponless. The next level is... Nobody likes this level except Storm, one of the runners. Everyone else hates this level. There's a few reasons. First of all, this is a checkpoint skip level. So we're not allowed to grab the checkpoints. Secondly, it has a lot of parts that can just kill you, including a very difficult cat manipulation that we do on this part. Can you please just stop? As I said, a very difficult cat manipulation, and it did not go well at all. So we're just gonna have to try and storm through it and then die because, again, those cats are the most murderous cats in this entire game. It is so stupid to get past those two. That's one gone. Now the other one. Can you please stop? Okay, we got rid of him after way too long. And we then hit the checkpoint, which means that we have to do the entirety of the level again. That's the second part. That checkpoint skip, especially Setup Plus, is so difficult. I've gotten it once. Actually, no, I've gotten it twice, but once in actual, like, run. Yeah, this level is just murderous in every single sense of the word. There. I am not happy with the outcome of that level. Oh well, that's 7-5. What do you expect from 7-5? This level is just one giant pile of confusion. If you are new to this speedrun or this game in general, this is the most confusing level unless you have weapons. Also, there's a few really annoying jumps, but that's a different story. Go down there, and you go up here. That jump is another one of those really stupid jumps. Especially when the laser gets involved. Push this boat. Doesn't matter if I get the gem or not. Go down here. Push this block. Pop the duck shark. And a little bit farther. We wait for the duck shark. Get pooped out. And on that one. And then we can finally reach the secret level. Or the secret part. We are nowhere near done for what you need to do for the actual exits. Like, what we just did is about half of the level. Now, this level is a lot more interesting. This is my favorite level in any category. Because it's really simple in normal weapons. It's really difficult in both, in the other two, but like difficult as in it's still like doable and it's still like fun to go through. You just need to make sure that you skip checkpoints. And there are quite a few that are, and of course not dying. Not dying is also, I ducked. I'm calling bull on that one. We jump like that, we jump like that. I didn't have jump charges left because I apparently wasn't. Okay, this level can be very frustrating sometimes as well. Like right now. Because it's not cooperating. You have to wait for that block to respawn, so you wait for another jelly cannon bullet here. Land on that one. Go underneath this. I'm just gonna wait for that. That was badly timed. That was also badly timed. This is just timing based. And it's a really small time that you have for it. That was too early as well. That was too early. That one I just exploded really early. There. That's what we're trying to do. Just gonna wait for this because I really do not want to die in this part. And we're gonna have to move this block. That we can move that block. That we can get the pick. That we can jump over that checkpoint. Call pick. Good pick in there. That's abuse. Leave the gate. Move this block. Re-enter the gate. Get 2 more gems, and we finally finish this level. This level is... this time it went really bad, but there's so much going on, and whilst you're checkpoint skipping, I think it's a really cool design. I'm not so happy with how it went this time, as you can see by the fact that I didn't even get the timing mark. Which is just straight up embarrassing, but you know. This is another checkpoint skip level. And generally speaking, this level isn't that difficult of a checkpoint skip level. You just need to keep in mind to just not die and not hit checkpoints by accident. You have to be careful. If you are careful in this level, it will go fantastic. If you are not careful in this level, it will go horribly wrong every single time. There's a small window you can do this in. There it is. It's important to skip this checkpoint and then wait for the laser. And I wait for this laser as well. Double jumps to make that faster. Jump over that, and that level went really smooth. That's how you do this level. Don't die, don't get checkpoints, and then you're pretty golden. It sounds a lot easier than it is, and the most important part of it is just patience, but you know, patience is a virtue that I don't have. We are first going to grab this gem, because it's right on our path. We want to checkpoint skip this as well, but if this checkpoint skip fails, it doesn't matter as much. That's okay. We just need him to make sure that he keeps standing on that platform. I need to go back there just because I do not have a weapon to do. And do I have good pig RNG? Yes, I do. Nice. The pig walks at random, and sometimes he refuses to walk, and then you have to walk all the way to the other side to call him, or you have to wait. Waiting is actually faster, but it's unreliable, and you can still lose like 10-20 seconds to just waiting for the pig to arrive. That pig is cool. We are in chapter 7 finale. What I do not on the top of my head know what to really say about this level. We'll see when we go through it if there's anything special about it. Oh yeah, that's this one. Okay, this early part is pure and utter RNG of the worst kind, because you are just straight up not going to be able to get past the start if the RNG is not in your favor. We're gonna have to wait for that one to close. Fly all the way over here. At this checkpoint. We want to try and keep as many wing charges as possible for a little time skip coming up. If we have enough, which we generally don't have, then you can skip that part too, which is very unreliable. We'll try for it. Now this guy is another one of those rocket dudes, and we do not like these guys. Because if they position badly for you, they can just make your life impossible by pushing you into blocks, by destroying blocks on its own. That guy can be such a disaster. But we got past him just fine. I got hit by that ball because I didn't quite want to slide there yet, but I was more on the ice than I thought I was. Okay, that one was just bad. That was even worse. Haha. We are having a good finish of the last level, and then this level comes and decides to be annoying. But we are getting past it. No problem. Well, not no problem, but we're past that part. Past Boomerang guy as well. Boomerang guy can be a disaster and a half as well. My up input got eaten, which is kind of annoying. That one I shouldn't have risked. There. Why aren't there grenades here? What happened to those there should be grenades there. There wasn't. What the... Why weren't there grenades there? I am so confused. This cat arena is annoying because and you have pig and you have to make sure that the pig stands on the right spot, which is impossible because he decides to move after like 4 seconds already. And he moved too far this time because, you know, it's this pig. This pig can easily lose you a minute and a half if he decides to be frustratingly annoying. I didn't have jump charges left, and the pig moved again. Like this, the pigs can move either after from half a second till about 8, and like 4 or 5 seconds is average. This pig has been moving after 3 seconds or 2, 1, sometimes even just without actually waiting. And so this cat arena is absolutely stupid just because of that one pig. He shouldn't be moving that quickly, and he is. There. That was just... There was a bit of bad play in there as well, but that was mostly just the pig RNG screwing me over as much as it can. Yeah, chapter 8. And we have 12 minutes. Okay, we are almost definitely going a minute or two over estimate. That kind of stinks, but oh well. Chapter 8, weaponless can be as the fastest possible time in chapter 8. Weaponless is 11 minutes, so I have about 11 minutes to finish it. So unless I like world record this, it's not happening. Which kind of sucks, but you know, that was not great. That's actually, that there does not matter. It's actually almost faster to die there. Not faster, but it's more reliable. So it's... Wait for this thing to end. launch like that. So I can grab that. I hate that raccoon because it's not a whole window you have to. This is not something that worked. I need to just run back, get the raccoon to activate, and get the block again because I need this gem. I also need both of these gems. Got a good laser RNG at least towards the end. Nice. And we get to finish without dying, so the ending of that went well.
I remember a time when I was proud of you. Now I'm not. It's funny how that works.
We are going to have to do this all the way vanilla style. I have to quickly remind myself that I do have to do that because, you know, I can't really I don't really have any other options. Okay, the raccoon AI does not mess with me today. That's a raccoon that can be a bit of a troll as well. There's the laser. Oh, that's bad. That is bad. That is really bad. I haven't hit that checkpoint in ever. Well, no, I have hit it before, but not very often. Break those off. Get this checkpoint. Fall down. I went through that bar pretty smoothly though, so that does help a lot. That was just the worst mix of cycles you can get. They do need to get launched by that block. And if the saw blade cycle and the block cycle are just wrong enough, there is the chance that you can't actually get through that. They need to be perfectly aligned. Like if they're 2-3 frames apart or frames further apart from each other, that doesn't happen. That is not how that goes. I have to wait. This level is really cool. This start at least. I love this start. You can skip through it, almost the entirety of it, but just I love how that design is made with the portals. I say you can, but you can't in this category. I did that slash too late. Gee. Walk. That is something that can happen as well. There's about 1 frame where that can happen. No. And that actually works. Nice. Oh no, it doesn't. Haha. I need to have it 1 block further. I was like, yeah, I got it. Nice, but I did not. Because I'm not looking at the giant red no duck signs. I have to wait for these portals to be disabled. Leave that one. Wait for the lasers. Wait for the lasers again. Wait for the laser again. I don't want to be deep fried. And that's that secret level. Only 8 stages left. We're almost there. We're almost there.
This should be fun.
Gonna get a little closer to this rock by mass jumping. This is a little bit faster. Not a lot, but just enough. I thought that rock was gonna fall down because they're not even touching each other. But you know, that rock fell down at a weird time for it to fall down. I actually didn't know that could happen. This is kind of bad. Kind of really bad. And why am I not grabbing the rock properly? There. That's what I expected to happen, because that's what normally happens, but Oh no. This is a really tight window you have for this part. You need that one to be 1 block higher. You are. And yeah, that's not very manageable in general. Also, especially if you double jump there. So yeah, this part can be a bit really tricky at times. Because you have to wait for the very last second and then jump that part. I didn't get it. As I said, that's just... the window you have for this is stupidly close. It is just... there. It is one of the most frustrating parts of the weaponless category, that you have to go through that part. Okay, I'm surprised I actually got hit by the place there. I did not know you could get launched over it like that. Got at least through that part in one go. Nice. That part can be murderous as well. Jumper 8 can be very murderous at like at certain times. In general, actually. I'm gonna death abuse here to get that little bit of time going for us. I don't need that. Activate the duck shard. And now we wait. 306 is a bad time. Really bad time for this level. For that checkpoint. Yeah, that 209 on the other side where that checkpoint, that was just...
Now go for a beat.
That jump is so frustrating. One of these picks same position. Need the other one to get to the other side. Those picks can also screw you over big time. Not as much as some of the other picks have in more than just this run, but also in this run. I am messing up something super easy and I don't know why. Also get way too many gems in this level by default. No, not maybe by default, but by the weaponless category, it's easier to just get the gems and just try and skip them. There's a few levels where that's the case. This is one of them. Yeah, for this level, I have to really pay attention because if something goes wrong on the next part, this is just a reset of the level, not of the run. Something went wrong, but it didn't go as wrong as it could have, so get past this level, no problem. That was so close to just being awful. Only 5 more levels to go, of which one is, yeah, one is something special. The others 4 aren't the easiest, but are definitely doable. Definitely doable without issues, I should say. Not if I mess up early game cycles and I'm not paying attention to early cycles. That can be a bit tricky at times as well. Shouldn't have waited for this cycle. I should have most definitely not waited for that cycle. Oh, that's not gonna be it. Why am I messing up on easy parts of this game? This is not a difficult part, but apparently I'm making it one. There. I lost a minute on that. That's actually like really bad. As I know, because you know that part. I knew that part was going bad. That was not exactly my brightest moment either. I have to wait for this laser. Get past that part. That part. And that's a stupid job. Being overly eager, I guess. I'm gonna pump the duck shark over here. Because this is weaponless and I cannot do the little time skip. That's not something you're supposed to be able to do, by the way. You are, so yeah. Next up is another level that should be a problem, but then again I had troubles in the last level which appeared out of nowhere. Oh yeah, that's not how you do this. This is weaponless. I instinctively just try to do the weapon strategy for that, which is to put a frog eye somewhere. Wait for this laser, we slide further underneath it. Oh, I just missed that barely, so now we are gonna have to wait quite a long time. Okay, these last two are really good though. There. And now the next level is the final level that can actually kill a run. The two after that have theoretically some potential, but are both very quick and easy to do as soon as you know what to do. This one, however, has a lot of places where like death is lurking around the corner. Well, with some easy jumping and some easy rock throws, we're gonna get an actual rock as setup because it loses you essentially no time. And then there's this saw blade, which is scary. Now this part is one of the most frustrating parts of this entire run. We're getting past it really nicely, so that's good. And we go up here, grab this checkpoint. Yeah, have really bad RNG on Rocket Dude. You can face one of two directions. Most likely he's going to shoot in your direction, which is like the logical thing for that Rocket Dude to do. But there's a very small chance that he shoots in the other direction, and then if you go too fast, then you just die there. It's annoying. However, that level, only 2 deaths in that level is not actually the worst. I'm having some frame rate issues at times as well, which is another story for another day. I think I'm frying my computer too much, but you know. Time for the final finale. The pick. Pass this section. Up here. And that was a really bad hit. Makes it take a little bit longer than it needs to be, but oh well. Oh, what just happened with audio? My audio just like cut out in a really weird way. I don't have audio anymore. Oh, the battery. Okay, okay. Nah, I still hear it from like other station, from the other station. Also, this part doesn't use audio cues, so me not having audio. I don't know if I'm being heard by everyone now. Okay, okay, okay. Mike is still alive. Okay. I'm gonna wait for that one to close so we can time this precisely. There. There. Now this part can be quite scary, but you just have to wait and walk past patiently and it just goes really quiet. I didn't even know that when I first started that level, but oh well. There. There, and we're almost done now. Oh, that's double jump too early. There. There. And there. We're about to get ready, so Zach, if you can get ready on time. As soon as I hit the boat, so I'll let you know when it exactly is, but that's after this cutscene.
Everyone's waiting for us. Something's very wrong here. Well, if you can't carry yourself, then we'll carry you for you.
There. Walk past us. And dive.
And so we finally made it back to the boat after a
See,
harrowing, exhausting adventure. I bet your dogs are barking. I mean, let's face it, most of that
well,
ordeal was
I
unpleasant.
felt like it
We're
went a
sucking
lot
the whole
worse
lot,
than
but now it's time to
152, but
relax in the
152
forbidden
is
moonlight of
not as
yesterday's
expected.
promises, whatever that means, and treat ourselves to a nice
Yeah,
big
that's
mug of hot
a
cocoa. What do you
mediocre
say,
performance
Hattie?
of the
Hattie
weaponless
wasn't his
category.
normal, jovial
Awesome
self
game,
anymore, children.
awesome
Didn't say a
category.
word.
Weapons
He didn't
is
even
awesome
respond to
too.
hugs. Freaking
But
hugs.
you know, I
He
also
loves
love this
hugs.
category.
He
So
wasn't
I'm gonna
moving.
throw it over to the
Wasn't
host
even
because I
blinking.
think I'm done for
Where's
this
he
run.
gone to? Where?
Thank you, Jessica.